I want to start doing a series on ex-Jehovah's Witnesses Ask. There's lots of things that happen after we leave the witnesses and lots of questions that we're going to have. And lots of things that we're probably not sure about. So what career should I go? Should I start pursuing? Should I get into further education? What's the deal with sex? How can I find a partner that understands what it is that I've been through? Should I now start celebrating my birthday and Christmas and all that sort of thing? All of these things are valid questions and things that I'd like to cover in this series. But one of the things I keep on seeing on social media, and it's one thing that I really want to address and hit home for all of you who are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, or even ones that are thinking about leaving, and that's this deal with regards to Armageddon, and am I now going to die at Armageddon as a result of not being a Jehovah's Witness? Well, if you still believe that Armageddon is coming, then yes, I'm afraid you are going to die at Armageddon. But here's the thing. So is every Jehovah's Witness in the world. Now, why do I say that? Well, first thing, do yourself a favour. Go and ask a Jehovah's Witness. Do you believe that if Armageddon comes tomorrow, that Jehovah is going to spare your life? I've asked lots of Jehovah's Witnesses this, and not once has a Jehovah's Witness said to me, yes, I guarantee I will make it through Armageddon. They will say, well, that's up to God, that's up to Jehovah, and hopefully I'm good enough. So that's the thing. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, or if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, you have no guarantee of getting through Armageddon anyway, so don't worry about it. What they will say is that in order to give themselves the best chance, they become a Jehovah's Witness. Well, what does the Watchtower say, and what does the Bible say with regards to who is going to survive at Armageddon? Well, you have to uphold all the laws, you have to uphold his standard. And if you can, then he might just spare your life. No Jehovah's Witness in this world upheeds to the standard of the scriptures of Jesus Christ. Now, why do I say that? Well, Jesus said that if a man so much looks at another woman as to have lust for her, then he has committed adultery in his heart. So what Jesus was saying, that if you have ever lusted after another woman who isn't your spouse, then in his mind it was as bad as you actually committing the act of adultery. Now, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, or even if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, you will do this as a man, because guess what? You're a man. You're either going to have done this, and probably do it on a daily basis, or you're going to be gay, and God doesn't particularly like gays either. And guess what? Jehovah's Witnesses are no different. And if they say they are, then they are lying. Every man has looked at another woman as to have lust for her, because they are a man. That's what we do. So according to that standard, no Jehovah's Witnesses getting through Armageddon, I'm afraid. And if that weren't enough, what did Jesus say when it comes to hating your brother? If you hate your brother, then in your heart it is as bad as committing murder. That's right, people. According to Jesus, if you have hated, or even the Greek word actually wouldn't even say hate, it would say strongly disliked somebody else, then it's as bad as you killing them. Now, killing people is wrong, not just in biblical terms, but it's just not particularly nice. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on who it is that you're killing, but for the most part, it's not a good idea, not a good thing to do. But if you have ever strongly disliked someone, then guess what? You're as bad as somebody who's committed murder. Now, I don't care if you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness or you're a current Jehovah's Witness, there will be people in this life that you don't like very much. And so therefore, according to Jesus, you are somebody who has committed murder in your heart. Armageddon comes tomorrow, everybody dies. Sorry, that's the way it is. But look, here's the thing, right? Armageddon ain't coming, I'm afraid. You know what? Jehovah's Witnesses have been saying this since the 1920s. Actually, before the 1920s, they were saying it was coming, and it's not here. You know why? Because it's not. It is never going to come, so stop worrying about it. There's a reason that you've left this organisation. There's a reason that you're thinking of leaving this organisation. It's the lies that have been taught to you for years as to why it is that you've left or why it is that you're leaving. So why are you hanging on to this like it's something that's still going to happen? It's not. But why don't you live each day like it is going to be your last? Why don't you live each day like Armageddon is coming tomorrow? So you know what? Maybe you won't be here tomorrow. But if you're not, then make the most out of this life while you still can. So yes, if Armageddon was to come, then you probably won't be good enough to meet his standard. But go and ask another Jehovah's Witness. Go and ask them, do they have any guarantee that they're going to make it through Armageddon? They're not. And maybe they'll use something to say Armageddon's coming. They might use this Russia thing. Okay, so you're probably aware that in the media, it's been well known in the media recently that Jehovah's Witnesses have been getting tortured and they've faced a ban in Russia. Now, I'm not going to go through that whole thing, but they will use this as something to say, there you go, look, we're God's people. You know, we're getting tortured and all that sort of thing. This is bullshit, okay? It's absolute bullshit. Just because they are getting tortured, and don't get me wrong, I don't like the fact that they're getting tortured. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not. But you can't point to that one thing and say, therefore, we are God's people. Because in places like Iraq, Iran, places like that, Christians and other religious organisations have been tortured and killed for their beliefs for decades and decades and decades. What about Jews? There were 9 million that I seem to remember, 6 million that got wiped out during the Second World War. So it's actually a really, really shit argument, I'm afraid. So don't be afraid, okay? Just go back to the reason as to why it is that you left. Do your homework as to all the lies that Jehovah's Witnesses have told over the years. And this is, with regards to Armageddon, this is just another one. I hope that's been of some comfort to you. And you can stop having this fear that you're going to be zapped down because you're somehow not good enough. And you've got to stop thinking about that you're not good enough. That's for another video. If there's anything particularly that you would like me to talk about, it could be anything from career to how you celebrate Christmas to how you make friends or anything like that. And hopefully I can give you some advice that might be useful. I've been out 11 years now. So particularly if you're new out and you're not quite sure what direction to turn, I'd love to be able to share something that might be able to help you moving forward. So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you next time.